everybody. Oh my gosh, what a day. We have been getting all over, I can't spell today either. We have been getting all over Facebook today and it keeps shutting off and doing weird things. Anyways, I'm hoping we're on live now, and for those of you that came on at 11, we will kind of do a little recap of what we did before we were cut off. And so this is the immune system soup that is going to be full of really good stuff. Trying to not repeat myself too much. But it's going to be really super healthy for the immune system because it's so important for the immune system during these times. And I'm not going to repeat my whole spiel of what I just talked about for the last 20 minutes. So I'll repeat all that tomorrow. And but anyways, so what we have here is we have we just started with a little bit of water in the pot, and then we added I sauteed some onions, some carrots, some celery, and then added some little cherry tomatoes from the garden, and we're going to make it really immune enhancing soup. And so we added chard. I have this beautiful bunch of chard here from Kirstie Allen. I don't know if you can see it all. It's a lot of chard. So yes, tons of chard. So we have that from Kirstie Allen at the Old Orchard Farm, and she's also working with the Alberni Collective Community Collective, and they sell the produce at the Spirit Square Farmers Market. And so yeah, so check that out. I think that the farmers market's still going at Spirit Square. So definitely check out the fantastic vegetables. I was so happy to be able to get these beautiful, like they're just super awesome big pieces of chard that are just lovely. So I'm going to dehydrate these, and I started talking about that, but I'll talk about that more tomorrow. Anyway, back to the chard. We added the chard to the soup because the chard has, hey Darlene, you're back. I don't know what happened. We got lost and came back on and got lost. I thought, you know what? I still need to make this soup, so I am just going to keep waiting till Facebook lets me back on and carry on with the soup. So, yeah, so the chard has excellent source of magnesium, which is so important. The magnesium is really good for the brain. It's really good for the heart muscle, for relaxing. It's really good for like anxiety and depression and sleeplessness, you know, and all that. It relaxes everything. Really good for the colon too if you're having any kind of constipation problems. Magnesium is good, and it's good for the heart especially. So really good heart medicine. So the chard has the magnesium and iron and potassium, and of course vitamin K. Most of your green things have your vitamin K. So yeah, so we added it, and then the greens were supposed to be very bright green, but they ended up being very overcooked because the Facebook went off and then it got overdone before I could finish and shut it off. So I'm going to add more. So these are okay because it's like a regular soup, right, where the vegetables are cooked and ideally, you know, contain many good nutrients, but not as good as if it was like still pretty fresh and just steamed. So adding the chard, we're going to add more chard. We started adding the seaweed too. So the seaweed is very good for the it has all of the natural iodine and is really good to protect against radiation. And we get so much radiation from the from everything, from the cell phones, you know, oh my gosh, we have radiation all around us, especially cell phones, internet, and all that kind of stuff. So the seaweed protects the thyroid and it protects against radiation, and there's a lot of research on using seaweed specifically for reversing the effects of the radiation. They've used it a lot in Japan, and you know, all of the unfortunate earthquakes and disasters there and stuff. So this particular one is one that my lovely brother-in-law brought for me from way out on the open ocean waters. So if you're going to collect your own seaweed, make sure, I already added a bunch of sweat, just add a little tiny piece. If you're going to collect your own seaweed, make sure it's from a non-polluted source as much as possible, like way out open ocean where the waters are clear as can be. And nearly all seaweeds, I think all seaweeds are edible. And so this particular one is Kombu. So add a little piece of this as well. Get a little smaller piece here. And of course, when we started the whole video thing, and then we got cut off half an hour ago, everything was washed and clean, and so the seaweed's clean, and my hands are clean and all that. It's kind of hard to pick up where you left off when you get cut off 20 minutes after you're into it and you try and remember everything you said and did. But anyway, we didn't do this. We didn't do the kombu. And so, this particular one's very tough. So you can use your, clean kitchen scissors if you want. It's always good to have a pair of those around that are used strictly for cooking. And, kind of makes things easier when you're using a tougher seaweed like this. So it's super important, for the immune system for sure. The other one I have here is something just fell down, is the wakame. And that's a really nice seaweed too. It's got the little tiny shreds. And there's another one that I need to get more of, and it's kind of like that red crumbly, kind of a red algae. I can't remember the name of it, but it's really yummy. Like you can actually just eat that, like a snack, and it's really, really quite good. So what we're doing is immune system miso soup. And so because the miso is a fermented soybean and it's really, really good for you with the B vitamins, because it's fermented, it feeds the gut biome and your healthy bacteria. It's probiotic and everything. And so the miso usually will come in a refrigerated container because it is fresh and fermented, and so it's a live living food. And so we're going to add this part later because this is a little too warm right now for to add that. Actually, I'm going to put the chard in and then add the rest. I'm get so busy talking I forget that forget what I'm doing in the middle of what I'm doing with my clean hands here. Okay, so we're going to put that in so that's fresh. So for the miso flavor, just to get a little bit more intensity, I am going to use a miso broth that's dried. And so this is like an Epicure. This happens to be an Epicure product. I don't sell Epicure, but I do like this. Is if you want somebody that sells Epicure, let me know, and a friend of mine does. But anyways, so I am going to add a little bit of this for the flavor because this is hot. I don't want to destroy all the probiotics and enzymes in the freshly fermented miso. So we're adding that. And the other thing we're going to do for the adding the immune system benefits, I need some more water in there, is to add your immune system enhancing mushrooms. So there's lots of different, you've got your button mushrooms, your creminis, your portobellos, and they're all good for you. They all have B vitamins and all kinds of really good stuff. But in particular, what we're going to do is we're going to, I have some here that I actually got and dried myself. So we're going to add oyster mushrooms, which are really beneficial for the immune system, very cleansing for the body. They look like little oysters when you pick them fresh, and so I dried these, so I'm so happy to have them. If you haven't tried oyster mushrooms, and you can buy them in the store too, they are just amazing. They taste like little tender filet mignons to me. So yeah, so try the oyster mushrooms. They're antioxidant, so they pull free radicals from the body, and they tend to cleanse the old toxic cells and that kind of thing. They've actually been used for cleansing environmentally cleansing too. And so, yeah, so oyster mushrooms, super, super good for you. And then the shiitakes are these little dried ones, and you can buy these fresh too at the store. They're actually more common than the oysters. And so the little shiitake mushrooms, really, really good for your immune system. They also work to lower cholesterol, and they're very antiviral. So these mushrooms are very antiviral. And in fact, most medicinal mushrooms are very antiviral. So the more you can get into your body that is antiviral, obviously the better you're going to be able to resist any viruses. So it's really a good idea to do and eat or drink or whatever it is that you can ingest that that fends away viruses is like super awesome. So these are the shiitakes. They are a little bit chewy when they're dry, so that's why I'm picking around the stem. I find the stem just a little too, you know, it's just a little too tough. So yeah, and they have a distinct flavor. So put the shiitakes in there, and then we'll let these guys rehydrate because they're dehydrated. And oh yes, okay. And so we didn't add anything much for spices. I am going to add some garlic. This is granulated garlic. It's not garlic salt and it's not garlic powder. It's granulated garlic. I'm going to add some Celtic sea salt here too. I'm not going to add too much because the miso is also quite salty already. And so some black pepper, and if I can find it here. I always like to add cayenne pepper because it's so good for the circulation. And I do have it here, the cayenne. Really good to aid in circulation, good for cold hands and feet, good for the heart. Cayenne or capsicum, that's actually capsicum. Super good for your whole immune system, so that's really helpful. And then the last ingredient before I add the miso, like I turn this off because I don't want the vegetables overcooked, so I turn this off, and so that chard is just like tender. It's tender, wilted. It's just like steamed, really, you know, so it retains most of the nutrients, like especially the magnesium and potassium and stuff. So, but I interrupted myself. The other thing I was going to add is this here. This is my morning powders, and I have done a few videos on this. This is a combination of immune system enhancing powders that I have used over, like I take this every morning with my greens, like every single morning. And it's a combination of herbs that I find really good for the immune system, and then ones that are specific for me. So yeah, so, you know, whatever it is that your genetics or your body, your health is working with is what you want to add. And you can buy most of these things in a powder at the health food store, Healthy Habits or whatever. And you know, mix the powders together for your own particular needs. So in this case, this is ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is really good for stress, for anxiety. It's anti-inflammatory. It's really good for the energy. It's a well-known Ayurvedic herb, ashwagandha. This also has astragalus. I'm trying to think astragalus, one of my favorites. Boosts the immune system. It's antioxidant, anti-aging, anti-inflammatory, good for your heart, and again for stress as well, right? So maca, which is really good. I always love maca. It's good for energy and stamina. It keeps you going, you know, and with just a gentle enhancement of your own energy. Like it doesn't get you hyper or anything. It just makes you feel good. And it's good for healthy brain function. And in this case, I've added for myself Moringa, which is antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. I think it's antifungal too. Anyway, good for lots of stuff. And then some ginseng, which is good for energy and your immune system. Pretty much everybody knows what ginseng is good for. I've also added shatavari, which is a really good female balancing herb for the hormones. And so anyway, oh, and olive leaf extract. That was the other thing that's in here. And that's antiviral, like big time antiviral olive leaf. Anyway, so if you like, this is cool. And I'm just going to serve it like, you know, warm to the taste so that I'm not destroying my miso and my my morning powders. I'm just thinking of that. You know, I have taken this in, I have added this to my teas and stuff. And it's, you know, it will still have medicinal value. That's what I'm looking for. It'll still have medicinal value. I'm not going to add that whole thing because it's the ashwagandha is fairly bitter. So I still want the soup edible. But yeah, so you could add it to a hot drink. You won't get quite the medicinal value out of it, but you still will. So that, and then, so now I'm going to add the miso. Miso comes with a little plastic thing here to protect it, the little protective film. And so this is going to add your probiotics, and it's also going to add, because it's a fermented soybean, it's a little bit salty, like most things that are fermented are a little bit salty. And which leads me to the next thing I was going to do, but since we lost each other on Facebook Live, oh my God, we lost each other. I'm not going to have time to keep you on here to do my next thing. And besides, it's something I've done before, which is the sauerkraut, so you're not missing much. I've done the sauerkraut several times. But I'm all out, and because sauerkraut is so super important in your whole immune system, your probiotics, your gut bacteria and everything, I'm out, and so I need to make more. So I was going to make more with you, and I mean, I'll show you the beginnings of it, but I'm sure you've seen it a million times. I have it on several of my YouTube videos, on my Facebook Live, and yeah, so oh, this is the other thing. I put it in front of me so I wouldn't forget. A garlic scape. So I'm going to put a garlic scape in there too for flavor. Actually, I'm going to cut it, kind of cut it where it's got more surface. Just do a little cut. I won't completely cut through, but just to let it drain its little beautiful garlicky juices out. Kind of like that. So it's still together, but it has the little cuts to be able to draw out that beautiful flavor. Okay, so the other thing I was going to do before we got rudely interrupted was do the sauerkraut. And I'm going to do it anyways. And if you guys need to go, you can. It's been so fun doing the Facebook Live because it's just such a it's such a great community. You know, we hang out, we do things together, and do all kinds of really great. I'm going to turn this over for clean surface. Although it doesn't matter if I get charred in my sauerkraut. Yeah, so it's just such a great community, sharing ideas and information, and it doesn't matter. I'm picking the chard off the cabbage, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm so distracted now after being interrupted by Facebook. I don't know what's been going on with the internet lately, but you know, it just kind of drops off. Anyway, this is my new thing, my new gadget, and these mandolins you have to be extremely careful with. They will cut the ends of your fingers off, so you need to be super careful. This particular one is brand new-ish, and it has a finger guard, so that's awesome. So I'm going to take this off, and then you never, I'm going to put it back on, because you never fool around with it without the finger guard on, and you never fool around with it without this thing on it as well, which the top is, oh, the top's over there. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so we're going to flip this up, carefully put this on, and then you would do your little, whatever, your carrots, your whatever. So all we're going to do with this is I'm going to do the green cabbage. I'm going to It's okay that it has chard in it. It'll just ferment faster. I'm going to do the purple cabbage, the green cabbage, and carrots and a beet, and then just add the salt for the brine. So I need to get the finger guard, so I am going to grab that. So it comes with a fancy finger guard, just to make sure. And I'm just going to put that in there because I don't really, I mean, I'm sure there's a certain way of slicing the sauerkraut to make it perfectly perfect. But I'm not going to worry about that because I don't really care. I don't really care which grain I'm cutting on the sauerkraut. Okay, so I'm just going to move some of these other tools here carefully. And okay, make the thing the right, it has a cute little, this has an adjuster thing. I just got it. I'm quite enjoying it. Anyway, compared to my old one, which was a real antique. Okay, let's see. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put the cabbage with the salt, and then the thinner it is, the faster it's going to ferment. So I am going to struggle with it a bit just to get it super fine and to throw it all over the floor. And oh, there we go. And because it'll ferment faster, and because we are kind of out of sauerkraut, I really don't want, you know, I don't want to take too long to ferment because we're in dire need, and it's so important. So I have, just gonna cut this here, put another piece in, however that goes. Oh, it's always good to save some of the outer leaves for your jar too, to put on top. So I'll set those aside, and I am definitely going to need a bigger bowl. So we're just gonna kind of throw the dishes around here and use a bigger bowl. Me and my little workspace. Okay, so if you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna carry on here. So yeah, so it's been so much fun sharing the Facebook Live with you guys and making all kinds of healthy foods and just having community, seeing as how once again we're being told to stay home. So it's nice to be able to do things on the internet. And of course I wouldn't be struggling nearly as much with this if I was standing up. It's coming. So if you have the bigger pieces, this is all going to fall apart when I let go of it. It's okay. Just eat the bigger pieces. Well, I would stick that in my mouth right now, but I can't talk and chew at the same time. I mean, sometimes I can, but you're not supposed to. So, so anyway, the bigger pieces are just going to take a little longer. Okay, so where's that other piece? I can just add that, or I can add the, actually I should probably empty this. See how nice it is? I don't know if you can see that. There's some big pieces here. I will take them out, although you don't have to. They'll just take a little bit longer to break down, which is okay too, because with the sauerkraut, okay, I'll give you the recipe. It's a tablespoon of salt, hopefully, you know, organic Celtic sea salt or Himalayan sea salt. It's a tablespoon of salt per quart of water. And so we're going to be putting this in the quart jar. And so I am going to add a tablespoon of salt and then massage it in. So that's why I was saying it doesn't really matter to me how long it takes to ferment, because what we end up doing is it tastes so good while it's fermenting, while you're waiting, that we just scoop a little bit off and have it every day, either on the side as a little side dish or in your salad. So you can put the sauerkraut in your salad. The other thing about I miss a little finger guard. You always need to have that in there. The other thing about the sauerkraut, tasting it every day, is that way you also make sure that it's under water, or under the brine, because anything that sticks out from the brine, this went really weird. Anything that sticks out from the brine will tend to mold, and we definitely don't want that. It has to be underneath the salt water, underneath the salt brine. And I guess there is a reason for trying to get it the right grain, because that totally didn't work out. But it doesn't matter, because it just has to be kind of chopped up. I usually used to always cut it with a knife, and sometimes it works better when you're trying a new machine out. But anyway, we don't really care, because all the rest of this is going to go into tonight's salad. So totally is okay with me that we have bits and chunks of pieces kind of everywhere. I wonder if that'll fit in there. I don't think it's going to. Okay, so let's try this. I'm just going to add a little bit of purple for flavor. Yeah, so cabbage is now I've got it stuck. Cabbage has vitamin K big time. The green cabbage has more vitamin K. It also has vitamin C, but it has more vitamin K than vitamin C. And the red cabbage has more vitamin C than vitamin K. So the red cabbage, or purple, you can call it purple if you want. It's pretty purple, not really red. See, I put that one in nice. Look, it's nice. It's shreddier. It's shreddier than the other one. Anyways, yeah. So your purple cabbage also. It also has has as many antioxidants. It has as many antioxidants as goji berries. And if everyone knows how good goji berries are for you, and most people do, and you can't afford goji berries because they're fairly pricey, just eat your purple cabbage. Okay, all right, I'm making a nice mess here. All this is going to go into, whatever didn't work out is going to go into my salad tonight. So we're going to have cabbage salad, and we have done the cabbage salad before, so I'm not going to show it to you again. But the one I'm doing that you can find on my YouTube or my Instagram is the one where we're using a veganaise, or you can use a mayonnaise if you want. And what kind of carrot should I use? I want the carrot shredded, so I'm going to use that part of my new machine, and I want to do that with the beet as well. So, oh, the other thing I remember, it should be here somewhere. I was going to add a little piece of ginger. Where'd it go? I don't know. It must be hiding here somewhere. Okay, well, anyways, I'll add that after, seeing as how it just isn't anywhere that I thought I put it. Hiding under the tomatoes? No. Okay, I'm boring you guys. So we're just going to carry on now with the adding the carrots to it and a little bit of beet to it for this. But anyway, back to the other recipe. I just need to cover this thing, right? Because we don't want to, definitely don't want to cut the ends of your fingers off. Okay, so we're going to go like this. We're just going to grate some carrot and put that in for this particular sauerkraut, and then add that water and the salt. Actually, we won't need much water, because if you massage it enough, the sauerkraut, then it'll create its own juice. Shockingly, it will really. The longer you massage it and leave it and massage it and leave it for a few minutes, the more it creates its own juice. So that's awesome. Anyway, back to the other recipe for the rest of these bits of cabbage is basically just veganaise. In my case, I love veganaise, but you could use mayonnaise or whatever kind of A's that you want. And maple syrup, and I like to use a little bit of cayenne pepper and salt and pepper, like, Celtic sea salt and ground pepper. So that's the dressing for the cabbage salad that I'm going to make with all these little pieces that kind of just flew around everywhere. And that's the fun thing about doing this together, is that, you know, you really make no mistakes. You just do, you know, do what you do in a recipe, and then if it doesn't turn out, it just turns into something else, which is lots of fun too. So yeah, so just gonna add a little bit of this beet. You know, the purple cabbage is kind of gonna make everything kind of go a weirdy purple anyway, so I might as well add some beet, and then the whole thing is probably gonna turn red, but that's okay. It's gonna add goodness and flavor and oh my gosh, just so many nutrients, you know, the iron in the beets and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think I want to add too much, because beets do tend to have their own strong little flavor. So what I'm going to do is set this here. Oh my gosh, it's a good thing there's a lot of people that just watch this every day that know what I'm like. It's just fun, that's all. It's just fun, healthy cooking with I'm a certified herbalist and nutrition consultant and a natural health consultant, but I am not a professional cook. So we just have fun making healthy foods. Okay, so we have the cabbages, the beets, the carrots, and we're going to add the tablespoon, which, since my hands are clean, which I've done this so many times, I know what a tablespoon is in my hand. So it's about like that, maybe just a hair more, okay? So you're just going to massage that in. And yeah, and so it will start breaking down. It'll start pulling the juices out of the cabbages, and it'll become very liquidy, and then we'll be packing it into that jar. I was going to add that onion, but I'm thinking, you know what, I do that all the time, and I want to do something a little different, so I'm not going to add the onion. Next time, I'll add that piece of ginger that I had around here. I don't know where it went. And but you can see this is getting very juicy already, and the color is really beautiful. So you can actually, because there's not too much salt in it, you can actually just grab a little bit of this out of the jar, throw it on your salad every day until it starts to ferment, which in the summer would be, you know, could be as quick as 5 days to a week, but right now, because the weather's cooler, it could be up to 2 weeks. So but you'll know when it starts to really ferment and break down. Just make sure that the cabbage, all of the vegetable is under the brine. It has to be under the brine. And so what we'll do when we pack it into the jar is we'll cover it with a little piece of cabbage leaf and then weight it down. Make sure that it's under the brine, or you can make extra brine, which is 1 tablespoon of salt to a quart of water, and just top it off to make sure that you have enough brine that's covering the cabbage so that it doesn't start to mold. You know, in the old days it has a big, well, not a big, but it has like a scoby little film, for lack of a better word, on the top, and in the old days they'd just scrape that off and eat the vegetable underneath. But if you keep it covered with the brine, it doesn't develop the little scoby thing on the top. So you can see this is getting really watery right now. So I'm just going to let it rest, and the salt will continue to break it down. And then if you come back in a few minutes and you massage it a little bit more, it'll be super, super watery, and you hardly have to add any brine. Okay, so that's it. Thanks, you guys, for hanging out like an hour later than we were supposed to be. Hey, there's Kate. How we had technical difficulties. Facebook cut us off halfway through, and I had to make this anyway, so I just started again a half hour late, and so here we are. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, you guys. I totally missed you. I was so happy to see everybody this morning, and very sad to lose most of them when Facebook shut off. But I will see you tomorrow morning at 11, and so have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you tomorrow at 11. Have a great day. Bye.